Good morning. Hi, ladies. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hi, Ale. Hi, bom dia. Very excited. We are talking to Fabi Guntovitch today. She will be joining us. We're going to be talking about something very important, which is self-love. So, hi, good morning. Hi, Carla. Hey, Mom. Good morning. Good morning. We're just waiting for Fabi to join us. And as soon as she does, we will get started. Just so you ladies know, if there is anything that you want to ask us, you can go ahead and add that in the comments. And we will go ahead and address those questions at the end. I'm sure we're all going to be extremely motivated. We're going to learn so much this morning. Let's see. Fabi, where are you? Let's see. All right. Hi, good morning, everyone. We are just waiting for Fabi to join us. And then we will get started. It's a beautiful day. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Can you believe it's already Thursday? Hi, Karina. Good morning. Hi. I know. We're very happy to have her with us today. So thank you. Let's see in the meantime if I can add this. Self-love with Fabi Guntovitch. All right, ladies. Hi, Moore. Good morning. All right, she's having let's see. Let's see. There she is. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I wasn't finding you. I don't know why. Instagram stuff. I don't know. But here I am, finally.
Welcome. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. So
Yes.
I'd like to know what you've been talking about before I enter this live.
Well, we were just saying how excited we are to have you with us today. I told them that we are going to be talking about self-love, how important it is, and how easy it is to love ourselves, and how it's not that difficult, even though most of us don't believe it yet, but we will once you're done.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Before we start talking though about self-love, just because many of our followers might not know you, it's our first time doing this together. Do you want to just give us a little background on you and then we can get started?
Sure. So my name is Fabi Guntovitch. I live in Brazil, so pardon my English if it's not that good or if you have trouble
It's
understanding what I'm
perfect.
saying, just ask. And I am a psychoanalyst and I also work with couples as well. I'm a specialist in relationships and my goal is to help everybody, but mostly women, to transform the pain in their souls into love. And it's a huge mission and purpose in life. But I'm so happy because it's so possible, you know. It's so beautiful and it's such an amazing shift of mindset, of behaviors, of choices in life that once we do it, once we we understand what life is about and what love is about and what we are doing in this planet, everything becomes clearer and simpler and easier to deal with, even the most challenging periods of our lives. So this is me.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes,
I'm
so
happy to be here. And
thank you.
I hope that today's talk and this life will help you shift this understanding that self-love is hard, it's difficult, it's almost impossible, it's selfish, that most people have this feeling that if I love myself, I'm selfish. And because we, mostly women, we try to give everything we have to others and believe that this is the way we're going to be loved back, and belong. And it's not like that. It's almost like that, but not like that, you know?
Like, okay,
So I
perfect.
hope that we can shift together these misunderstandings of being
Yes.
human and being a woman, especially. And I want to know if any of you already have made any comment or have any question or have anything to say. Just please write down in the comments, and Tati will be writing those down. So
Yes,
if I don't reply to you right away, don't worry, because once I begin talking, I don't read what is written there. But Tati will read and she will ask me, okay? So
yes. All right.
the first thing about self-love, uh, I'd like to begin our talk talking about love before self. What is love for you guys? To me, love is a feeling, but also love is an action, right? Because without action, there is no love. Do you agree?
Yes.
And love is about relationship, right? You love someone or yourself, but you're actually loving something or someone. So since it's towards something else or someone, it's a relationship that you build with another person, right? That's love. And a relationship does not exist without action, without choices, without actions and reactions. And when you talk about self-love, we have to understand and notice that it is all about relationship, as well as a relationship with with a daughter, with a partner, with a mother, with a friend, with a loved one. It's the same principle and the same source. It's a feeling and it's action. So when you talk about self-love, you're talking about the relationship with yourself. And how do you express this love towards yourself is going to determine how good this relationship is and how much you feel loved and how much you show your love, just like in a relationship with someone else. So with your partner, if you don't show your love to him and if you don't act on this love, he's going to believe you don't love him. And he's going to say, thank you, but no, thank you, right? I don't want to be near someone that doesn't love me. And when you talk about self-love, it's the same principle. So if you don't understand that love is about relationship and self-love is about the relationship you have with yourself, and if you don't show up to this relationship, and if you don't show yourself how much you love you, how much you are special, how much you value yourself, the other part of you that doesn't receive it is going to say, she doesn't love me. And why she doesn't love me? Because I don't deserve it. And if I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough. And if I'm not good enough, I'll never love myself. So you enter a negative spin that it's endless. And that's why it's so hard. Because once you enter the spin, it's hard to say, come on, stop. It's not this way, it's the other way around. And
Well, because you're
need,
having
yeah,
not to interrupt you, but what you're saying is when we're having a relationship with someone else, and let's say we don't give them the love, they're talking back to us and you hear what they're saying. But when having a relationship with
Ixi, Maria.
ourselves, can you hear me? No?
Tati, can you say it because the connection went bad?
Can you hear me
I
now?
didn't.
Is the connection better?
Ixi, Maria.
No?
Peraí, eu vou voltar. Eu vou voltar. I'm gonna come back because the connection is awful now. Just a second.
Okay. While we're waiting, thank you for those of you that are joining us. We are talking to Fabi today about self-love. If you have any questions, go ahead and add them on the comments and we'll address them as we are talking, okay?
I'm back.
Hi, well, welcome.
So, what were you saying? I'm sorry, the connection went
Well,
bad.
what I was saying is that when you're talking, when you have a relationship with someone else, right, you can hear them complaining about the not love that you're not giving them.
Mm-hmm.
But with ourselves, it's all in our minds. So it's not as easy because you have the the positive and the negative.
And you
You
don't
don't hear it.
notice the reaction. You know, like you just keep living and keep believing what's saying inside you, and you don't change because you don't feel threatened. Why do we change our behavior in a relationship with someone else? Because we usually feel threatened to be left behind, right? For the person to leave us. And this threat makes us, whoops, wake up and then show more love, be more present, be more kind, give more attention to them. But with ourselves, we don't notice this threat of being left behind, of being abandoned. So we just keep doing these awful things to ourselves. But what we don't understand, nobody told us before, and I'm telling you now, is that when you don't love yourself, when you're not kind to yourself, you enter an abusive relationship with yourself. You know, we hear a lot about abusive relationships, right?
Yeah.
And it's a huge problem in our society. Huge. I am sure it is in the United States as
Yes,
well,
yes,
but
it
here in
is.
Brazil, it's huge.
Especially
And
now during this time, we're hearing that the
it's
numbers are
growing.
rising.
Yes,
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 unfortunately.
I know. But we don't get that before we fall into a relationship, an abusive relationship with someone else, we've been working in abusive relationships with ourselves. And when we are under this kind of dynamic of a toxic dynamic within ourselves, everything outside of us, all of our relationships outside of our own are going to mirror our relationship with ourselves. I'll explain how. It's a shame we don't have a lot of time. We just have a little bit of time left.
I told you it wasn't gonna be enough.
The thing is, everything we live in external world is a mirror to what we live inside of us. If we don't love ourselves, if we don't value ourselves, if we don't respect ourselves, if we are not faithful to our truth, what we are saying to ourselves is, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not valued enough, right? This is an internal talk that keeps repeating behind the curtains, you know, and we, most of the time, we don't even notice them. We just feel something unpleasant within ourselves, and then just keep going with this unpleasantness towards ourselves. But we think we don't externalize that, because we don't go out saying, I'm not good enough, I'm awful, I'm full of shit, you know. I'm sorry, I can't say shit here. We don't tell everybody that, but our choices, our behaviors, and our energy, they do tell. And when someone else are next to us or close to us, they notice what we feel about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, how we relate to ourselves. And then they're going to ask themselves, well, I used to think she was amazing. I used to think she was incredible. That's why I fell in love with her. But then I noticed that she doesn't love herself that much. She's much more focused on me, on other people, what other people are doing, how other people are dressing up, behaving. And when they see that, they say, well, if she doesn't value herself that much, if she doesn't believe she's all that good that I used to think she was, and since I trust her, because when I fell in love with her, I trusted her senses, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's really not that good. And if she's even jealous and worried about someone else, she's probably right. That someone else might be worthy checking out, you know? That's awful.
Yeah,
but that's true.
really bad.
Yeah. But we create all those negative things we are so afraid of. And being afraid of the external world, we create these worlds that we do not live in. And the only way we can shift this back to the positive vibration and the positive creation that we long for is changing the relationship we have with ourselves. Someone wrote something. How do you start loving yourself if you are in that stage? What are the things you can do in order to relieve that negativity?
Ooh,
thank you,
yay.
Tati. Love the question. And the first thing, the very, very, very first thing, you have to understand that your biggest enemy in your life is yourself. And that you can turn yourself into your biggest friend, your BFF. So this is a commitment I'd like you to make right now, right here, right now. I'm going to become my best friend. This is the first one. I want you to be kind to yourself, to be gentle with yourself, with your words, with your acceptance of yourself. And whenever you feel that you are not good enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not young enough, you're not whatever enough, you just tell yourself, but I'm amazing. I don't care. I'm amazing. Anyone would be so happy by my side. So happy because I'm so freaking amazing. I almost said another bad word.
It's okay.
You know, that's it. And the biggest enemy we have is that we condition self-love. Sweetheart, no one can ever condition love, right? Don't you love, I don't know if you have kids, but do you love your kids unconditionally? If you do, I want you to shift that kind of love towards yourself. Until we believe that we have to be richer, more successful, married, or with Brad Pitt,
Skinnier.
or skinnier, or whatever more to deserve our self-love, we are doomed. And then I want to tell you a story, okay? A very quick one before we finish. Once I went to visit a friend in the nursery, you know, in the hospital when someone goes to give birth. I went to the hospital to visit my friend that she had just given birth to a beautiful baby girl. And I went to visit her, and I was watching all the babies in those little cribs inside the nursery through the window. And I was looking at them and thinking, oh my gosh, all these little babies, they are such amazing creatures. They deserve so much love. Have you ever looked at a baby in the nursery and thought, oh, I don't think this baby is going to be amazing. I don't think he's going to deserve the best life he could have. He doesn't deserve happiness, wealthy, abundance, good relationships, a good life. No, every single baby that is just born, they deserve everything good in life, right? They are pure love. Why? Because they are love. They are unconditional love. Can you look at a baby and do not feel this huge source of unconditional love? Impossible, right, Tachi?
Yeah.
But then we forget that we once were that baby. This is us. We were born deserving unconditional love. We were born being unconditional love. But then we grow up. And whew, I know it's tough because I see life as this challenging route, you know, like this challenging path where you were born unconditional love, perfect, deserving everything in the whole world. And then, you know, this is the truth. This is your truth. But then while you were living in this journey, in this path, you shift away from this truth. And then all we gotta do is come back to the same truth, right? Because happiness is there, is within us, is ourselves. But we have to stop believing in what the world, the people, the other children, our parents, because whatever we received and still receive from other people is linked to their fears, to their worries, to their difficulties and challenges in dealing with themselves. But then we believed in them. We believed all of it. And we lost ourselves in the process. So a shift to happiness, back to self-love, is a shift towards our essence, our own essence, our divine, loving, kindness essence. So all you need is there, inside of you. It's not outside. It's not here with me. It's not in anywhere else. It's in you. And it's amazing because all it takes is your willingness to commit to yourself, to relate to yourself in a more loving, kind, and grateful way, you know? Being grateful for being yourself, being grateful even for the challenges you've been dealing with in your life, because they are opportunities to grow, to evolution, and to practice even more the self-love you're trying to reach. Loving yourself when everything is so easy, it doesn't take much effort. But loving yourself when you're facing challenges, wow, that's strengthening, you know, like the muscle exercises, Tachi, you've been sharing with your teachers and everybody. It's the same. Yesterday you were exercising muscles. Today you're exercising love. also necessary.
Is there something that that's amazing, because it's true. When you and I spoke a couple days ago, you shared with me a story about the person that you love the most in the
Ah.
world and how important that is. Do you think you can I feel like that was so important, and it touched me in my heart in a way that I was like, wow, that's deep. Is that something that you think you can share with us? Maybe a shortened version of it, however
Yes,
you're comfortable.
yes, I can. I know. I told
Please.
you it's controversial. Like many people when they listen to the story, they say, "How come? How could you?" It's funny the reactions I get when I tell this story. Well, the thing is, years ago, I went with my daughter to a retreat in the U.S. That it was a spiritual retreat where we were supposed to work with ourselves. And in this retreat, there was this exercise about self love. And they asked me, who was the person I loved the most in my life? I didn't tell you, but I have 3 kids, and they are kind of grown up now. And my daughter, she was with me. I have 2 boys and a girl. And I'm crazy about them. I love them so much. They are my life, my kids. And I'm married. I've been married for 27 years now. And
Congratulations.
yes, we just made this week. And and the first I was supposed to write down the person I loved the most in this paper. And I was really quick in writing down my daughter, my 2 sons, because this is so natural and automatic to myself. Whenever I was asked, who do you love the most? My kids, my daughter. And she was right beside me. So it was really, really, really easy for me to write down Fefe, my beloved daughter. And I used to tell them every day, I love you the most, for all the 3 of them. And they said, no, but you said that to my brother. No, but I don't care. I love you the most. Right now, right this moment, I love you the most. So this is really natural. And I couldn't. I wanted to write that down, and I just stopped. I couldn't. It was like, it's not true. And I said, how come? How come I don't love my children the most? And then I asked myself, wow, do you love just her the most? Like, I cannot say the 3 of them, just one of them? No. And I said, oh my God, who do I love the most? My husband. It's not possible. I love him very much, but I cannot love him more than I love my kids. It's not right. And then I said, no, it's not him. And then I asked myself, okay, it's God. It can only be God. It's not God. My parents? No, not my parents, not even my parents. And and then, like a rock falling from the sky into my forehead, I figured it was myself. And it was shocking. And it was weird. And I said, how come can I love myself more than I love my kids, my husband, my parents, and God? It's not right. I felt ashamed. I felt guilty because I was supposed I my whole life I thought I was supposed to love more the people in my life than myself, that it would be selfish. And then at the same instant, since I've been working with myself for a long time, I figure out that if I didn't love myself more than anything else in the world, I wouldn't give my daughter and my kids the permission they needed to love themselves more than anything in the world. If I didn't love myself more than anything in the world, I'm gonna be honoring God in my life. Because I don't know what about you, but I do believe that God is unconditional love. He's the very, very, very big, amazing source of unconditional love. And if I didn't love myself more than anything in the world, I wouldn't be honoring God inside me. I wouldn't be honoring the divine essence I have ever since I was born, that divine flame of love, of unconditional love of God inside me. So allowing myself to love myself more than anything in the world, more than my kids, my husband, my parents, and even God, I was actually giving myself permission to love everybody in a way that I was never able to love before. Because when you do not put yourself first, when you do not love yourself unconditionally like that, you begin by doing things to others and creating, what's the name, Tachi? Help me, please. And creating, like a trade. Like I did something for you, but that wasn't good, very nice.
Expectations.
More than expectations, like, like an account. When you do something and you expect something
Mm-hmm.
back, and then you do something and expect something back, and then you charge for it, like an account in the bank.
Yes.
It's a cash out, cash in, cash out, right?
Right.
So um, I had to love myself more, even if it's like uh, a little hair, just something like really, 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 really little, a little bit more. It's okay. It doesn't have to be much more. And I don't even think it's possible to be much more. But just a little bit is enough for you not to go over uh, over yourself, like, do not anular. Como é anular, Tati?
Oof.
I will just ask her about in Portuguese. Not to,
Like delete yourself almost or
yeah,
exclude.
yeah, because otherwise you you will feel uh, you will feel guilty at the end of the day, and you will ask for the return of it. And when you ask for something in return, it's not it's not that unconditional love that you thought you had in the first place, right?
Right. And so that's amazing, and thank you for sharing. And that's one of the things that I know I hear a lot is people feel guilty or selfish if they take the time. If you take, no, today is going to be a me day, or I'm going to say no because it's better for me, but then you feel that a shame or guilt or all of these negative things.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you would say, okay, when you're starting to get into those thoughts, how do we, obviously you've discussed the fact that,
Yeah, the
it's
first thing I'd like to say is that it's not, when you talk about a me day, it's a whole day. And it's tough because who can afford a whole day just to themselves? It's hard. It's more like an exercise of every second than a full day. It's more than an exercise, like when you go brush your teeth, you're looking in the mirror and you say, it's gonna be a good day. You rock, you rock, girl, you're amazing. It's more of a practice of a feeling of respecting yourself, every single choice you have, of asking yourself, is it okay with me or is it not okay? And why it is and why is not. If you want, one time we can do a whole session about limits and boundaries,
okay.
like how to establish boundaries without guilty. I think
Oof,
it's important
that's deep.
because without healthy boundaries, we do not exercise self-love, right? So, but it's a whole
That's a whole
another,
nother
yes.
day.
But it's
Yes.
something that you do not take a day off to love yourself. You simply love yourself.
All day, every day.
Yeah. It's
And
not
by loving
something
ourselves all day, every day, we're able to love others much
in a
better.
much better way, in a much bigger way, in a much more amazing way. It's so, because it also contagia. How to say? It also,
Contagious.
Yeah, it's contagious. Love is contagious. Like bad mood, you know, when someone has a bad mood next to you, you feel grumpy in a couple of minutes, right? Love
Right.
is also contagious.
Well, it's
Self-love
like when
is all
someone
about,
walks in a room and you're like, she has it, or wow, that person is
yes,
confident.
yes. She permits herself to shine. She gives herself
Yes.
permission. It's all about permission, guys. It's all about permission. You have to give yourself permission to love yourself unconditionally. There is one thing that I can show you right before we finish this, is that there is a technique called EFT. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's emotional
Mm-mm.
freedom technique. I do not have the time to give you a full session of it, but um, the beginning of it is just tapping the side of your hand, like this part with your fingers, like this, yeah, and saying to yourself, even though I feel anxious, sad, uncomfortable, not belonging, excluded, whatever. Say the negative feeling you're feeling, even though I feel like blah, 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 I totally and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, whatever, completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel blah, 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 I totally and completely love and accept myself. So if you could do this every time you feel like uncomfortable about yourself, even though I feel uncomfortable about myself, I totally and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel uncomfortable about myself, I totally and completely love and accept myself. Deep breathe. Even though I feel uncomfortable sometimes about myself, I totally and completely love and accept myself. And imagine like a bucket of love, of unconditional love. You know, those this kind of love that you only feel when you are a little child in your grandma's lap, you know, like receiving a hug from your grandma when you're a little kid. You know, this kind of
Yeah.
love that I'm talking about. So imagine a bucket dropping this kind of feeling and of unconditional love over your head. It's delicious. We have to
Yes, it
exercise
is.
receiving this kind of love and stop expecting other people to love ourselves like that, because it's our job. We have to love ourselves like that. It's taking responsibility towards loving ourselves.
That's
Okay?
beautiful. Fabi, that was
Yay!
great. Thank you so much. I hope
Thank
that
you.
everyone got something from this today. Actually, if I can ask, if there is something that touched your heart or something that Fabi said to us that, let a little light in your life, share that with us. If you want, you can send us a private message or, the comment here the next minute or so. We would love to know. And if something that you would want us to continue talking about or that we can maybe elaborate on, just communicate
Sure.
with us. And Fabi,
Yes.
how can they contact you? I know you said you're in Brazil, but obviously, especially now with the way the world is, we can do everything virtually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Tell
amazing.
us.
I do some sessions with people in the US, as you know, Tachi, through Skype, and it's amazing. The world is so small right now, right? And you can reach me through my Instagram account, which is Fabiana Guntovitch. I think you can see it in the top of this talk, but I will write it down for you because my last name is not that easy.
I had to spell it 3 times. I was like, where is your last
So,
name from?
yeah, actually, it's my husband's.
Okay.
It's I think it's Polish, I guess.
Yeah,
My
it's
maiden name is Talocchi. It's Italian. So,
okay.
but I don't use. I was married. I got married. I was 19. So I'm 46 now. I've been more time married to him, more
Then
Guntovitch than I was Paloki all the way. So
Palaki.
so
I'm
I
just
just
looking here
that's
because
it.
just making sure that there was no other comments because I think
Yeah,
it stopped going.
if you have any questions yet, I still have some minutes to answer. I was in a really hurry, Tachi, because I thought this session was going to end at 11, and it's not right. It was we had until 11:30, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was desperate in a hurry. I'm so used to work with sharp times, like 10, 11, 12, never half a time.
Okay.
That was crazy.
Yeah, no, we do have a few more minutes, but I think you've just everything that you've said today, everything that you've shared, definitely. And it's so important to love ourselves, and I
I,
see how easy it is to forget that.
I would love to know from you girls that are watching this, how are you feeling right now? How do you feel inside of you? How easier it is for you to imagine yourself loving yourself. That would be great to know. If it's a little bit easier, if it's still very hard, and if whatever I talked about, if it showed some light into your self-love situation right now and into your commitment with yourself. Because it's all about commitment.
Right.
How do you commit to yourself? How much you are willing to live your life the way it is, or improving your life with self-love. It's all about that, which
Yeah.
is amazing because it's on us. We do
And
not
it's
depend
so
on anyone else.
easy, right? Because like you just said, we don't depend on anyone else. It's just a mind shift. And at the same time, it's also difficult because we've been somehow taught for so many years that it's not. Let's see
Yeah.
what Taylor said. She goes, definitely shedded light on my mindset and how I feel. So thank you. Oh,
I'm so happy. Thank
yay.
you. Thank you, Taylor. I'm glad. I'm so
Yes.
glad. This
Yeah.
is what I long for. This is amazing. And oh, one another thing that, since we still have time to to think about, is comparing ourselves. Another villain of self-love is comparison. When we look at other people's lives, look at other people's looks, how they look, how they live their life, if whether they are married, in a good relationship, in a bad relationship, whatever. When you look at other people's lives and compare it to ours, we are doing a huge, huge punch in our own faces, because we do not see their lives. We just see what they are willing to show us, and we see it through the lens of our own feelings, our own fears, our own pains. So it has nothing to do with reality, which is weird, right? But it's a perception. So when we stop worrying about who we are compared to what society expects, what other people think, what other people are doing, and we can just feel happy if we perceive something nice about other people's lives. And say thank you, because if someone else can have it, it means that anyone can. Just means that she's probably this other person is probably trusting herself more, loving herself more. It's all that means. And if she can do it, I can do it. And if I can do it, I'm willing to do it,
Anyone can do it.
right? That's the question. Am I really willing to do it? And when I say willing, I mean, am I really committed to correct my thoughts, to change my actions, to be more attentive to my choices in my life? Am I really willing to stop being so bad and critic and perfectionist towards myself? Or am I willing to just keep regretting not having what I would like to have in my life? Because the victim place, you know, where we are stuck at when we don't love ourselves, is an awful place. Awful. And then you say, Fabi, but I don't feel like a victim. It's awful. I don't want to be playing the victim ever in my life. And then I ask you, if you don't love yourself, do you really do not go to that place? And if you are really, really, really truthful and honest with yourself, you will see that that victimhood is a place that we go when we do not love ourselves. And it's a cozy, ugly, and filthy place. But it's cozy, you know.
Yeah.
And leaving that place is like leaving our comfortable zone of unhappiness. How come uncomfortable? It's comfortable because it's not unknown. It's known. And everything that is unknown is uncomfortable to the human being. So to leave that place, you have to be willing to face the uncomfortable of the unknown, knowing that if there is love, it must be better. Right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yes.
That's so good. That's so good. So good.
It's
Adri
so
Fonte.
good.
Yes. And this is it, guys. I hope you do exercise self-love. You feel loved. You feel you deserve love, you know, because you do. I do. Everybody does.
Everybody.
And the key to receiving love is loving ourselves. That's the biggest truth ever. You cannot receive what you do not give, and you have to give it to yourself first. Right?
All right. Abby, thank you.
Thank you, Tachi, so much.
It's
So much. It was
amazing.
amazing. I'm sorry
Yes.
for the misconfusion with the timing and everything, but I think
It was
it worked.
it was perfect.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
If you want to send me direct messages in my Instagram, feel free. I answer everybody that messages me. I try to do it at the same day, I promise. If not, the next day for sure. So I'm really open to questions, to suggestions, to whatever. Whatever way I can help you in some way, I'm willing to. Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
Beijos.
Tachi. See you,
Bye.
sweetheart.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye, ladies. Have a great day.